The foundation is basically a 501c3 charitable organization that actually raises funding to support a group of multi-specialty scientists who are from different backgrounds coming together under the Society umbrella, which is a medical association. So annually we bring them together in a World Congress for Brain Mapping. These are the scientists of different backgrounds, physicists and electrical engineers, neurosurgeons, radiologists, neurologists, stem cell scientists, nanotechnologists. They usually don't cross paths. They go to their own conferences. So we try to actually bring them all together and help them to interact and cross-pollinate ideas.
You can't just keep looking at everything as a single part. What you need to do is look at it across all these fields. In addition, the organization isn't just about therapies, it's also about understanding fundamentally the brain.
The brain is really what distinguishes human beings from all other animals, and it's the huge size of our brain that's important. And the way the brain has evolved over the last, say, 6 million years that differentiates us from the greater apes has led to several of the problems that I think that we have uniquely as humans.
We can now do things that we only dreamed about 10 years ago. So that's the technology and the engineering that's the basis for different and new technologies is what gives us the power to look at the brain in new ways. So it really plays a huge role in terms of our understanding of the brain and our understanding of the functions of the brain.
And you need a particular set of defined targets that you can approach and problems that you can solve. And after that, it lifts the field enough that you can go for even more meaningful targets.
I think what strikes me more than anything else about the organization is the commitment to integrate the various different sciences and the engineering aspects in a way that really delivers capability, medical capability, in probably the most urgent area that we have in the wars that we're fighting right now, the traumatic brain injuries and post-traumatic stress issues are issues that we don't understand very well. I'm convinced after being here just a couple of days that time matters, and I worry a great deal about solutions which might be here to some degree now that we need to move out as rapidly as possible. So if we're going to focus on a gap, I think one is probably a time gap that we need to move them as rapidly as possible, and the delays that I worry about is the emergence of symptoms tied to these injuries 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now that we might be able to mitigate or even eliminate with the kind of both technology and integration and from the neuroscience to the bioscience to the engineering aspects of what this conference and what this organization brings. So I'm very encouraged, and I'd like military medicine to be very much plugged in to what's going on here.
This is what I'm sure of, is that we're understanding the brain better and better and better because we can map it better and better and better, and we're developing new technologies to interact with the brain in a less and less invasive way, and just this ultimate frontier. It's just virgin forest waiting to be explored. And I think you're going to find just a whole gamut of cool concepts, technologies, treatments, therapies that let us expand our knowledge of the brain and treat diseases that have never been addressed before.
With some 100 billion neurons and up to 1,000 trillion neural connections in the brain, the only way we'll be able to tackle this great challenge and maximize the immense opportunity is through international partnerships like the G20 World Brain Mapping and Therapeutics Initiative. Congratulations to the National Center for Nanobioelectronics, the Society for Brain Mapping and Therapeutics, and the Brain Mapping Foundation for pushing this effort for over 14 years. I want to especially acknowledge the great work done by Drs. Kateb, Filler, and Tarhan.
These things are so inspiring and get people to understand, hey, this is not just a bunch of geeks, it's folks that are really making a difference, and they have really personalities, and they do a lot of good and have fun doing it. So I think it's important to let people know that science is hard work, yes, but the rewards are great and society needs it.
And so it comes down to understanding, and I think what the Society is trying to do is to really attack that problem from a number of different levels. Both the talks I've seen so far here have been a mixture of the basic science. Let's look at the maps. Where are things? How do we figure this out? The computational science, which says how do we analyze that in some reasonable statistical way, and the clinical science, how do we then use this information to make clinical treatment decisions? So I think this is spot on. I mean, I think this is exactly what has to be done, and it's the right way to think about it. And when we fill in all the gaps in the maps, and when we can expand, you pinch out and you can go down to the tiniest level and you can squeeze it in and go up to the top level, and you know where everything is and how they talk to each other. When we have that knowledge, we'll know how to fix these diseases.
So we really need to work hard in this area. This is, to me, the frontier, and I'm going to dedicate my life to it, and I hope everybody in the foundation and societies similarly do so.